Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video, about keyboards. It's been a while since we've touched on the subject. In fact, the last time I think was the summer of 2016, where we looked at the Corsair K70 RGB Rapid Fire, which was pretty much the best keyboard I've come across so far. But it was ridiculously expensive. I mean, it comes in at over £150 at the time of filming in the UK, and it's out of stock in a lot of places. So what about an alternative? Well, this is what Xtrfy have brought to the party, and it is their K2 keyboard with RGB lighting. Now, Xtrfy is a gaming first company. They're European. They are sponsored at the moment, or they're sort of partnered with Ninjas in Pyjamas esports team, and they're pretty much serious about providing the best gaming experience for people that want to use their peripherals for gaming. That's not to say this keyboard isn't suitable for anyone else, but it's very much targeted at the gaming market. And the keyboard differs in two different ways really to its competition. Firstly, rather than Cherry MX switches, it uses Kale red switches. But the other area that this keyboard differs to some of its other competition is with the lack of software, because Xtrfy believe that their peripherals should be plugged in and then not need any software. And that's a deliberate choice that works in some ways and doesn't work in others. RGB lighting is something that personally I really would prefer to have software, because I can then quickly and easily change the colour to whatever colour I can see on screen, whereas it is a bit more of a faff with this keyboard, as you have to read the manual I've actually got here, and it's quite complicated to actually change and get the effects of the keyboard RGB lighting that you want. I'll read you a very small extract here just to show you what I'm talking about. It's a paragraph long. You need to basically press the keys that you want to change the colour of, then press function. The keyboard colour palette will then appear. For more colours, press the space bar to switch between 4 different colours. To change the you sort of get the idea. If you had software, just drag all the keys you want, select a colour, job done. Whereas you properly have to study the manual to get this to do what you want to do, and it's definitely more complicated even if you can memorise it. Moving on to the actual design and build quality of the keyboard, it's actually really good. It's a full-size keyboard and it has a sort of soft touch matte finish to it that feels really nice in the hand and to your touches. It weighs 1.25 kilos. The red switches have a very low actuation force, and it's got a polling rate of 1000 Hz, which means that it's going to be very quick to react. So as soon as you press the key, it is going to go and quickly trigger the action on your computer. But the low actuation force means it's easier for you to actually press a key, rather than if you're using like a blue switch, it's going to take longer for your reaction to actually translate into action in game. But as a lot of people point out, to be honest, most people aren't really going to notice that much of a difference. But this is a gaming keyboard, and so a Kale red or a Cherry MX red switch, or a Cherry MX speed switch I should say, is actually probably the best way for a set gaming keyboard. But of course, everyone is different. Go and try out some different keyboards and see what you prefer. The keycaps as well are very well built. They feel really nice in the hand, and I've used a few keyboards recently. There's unfortunately one from G-Skill that I'll be reviewing next that I just haven't got on with very well at all, and it's pretty much completely the opposite with this, whereby I really enjoy typing on it and really enjoy gaming on it. The typing experience is going to be better for some people with this sort of switch, a linear switch, whereas other people will prefer a blue switch. And the red switch is definitely quieter than a blue, but it does lack any tactile feedback. I would say that it's arguably quicker for some people to type on a red switch than a blue switch, but with a blue switch it's a lot easier to not make mistakes on your keyboard, and typing with a red switch, because you've got that really low actuation force and you haven't got any clickiness, it means that if you do accidentally press a different key or you slightly hit another key, then it is going to give you a spelling mistake on your computer, whereas if you're using a blue switch it is actually harder for you to make spelling mistakes. But again, it's going to be down to personal preference, and the typing experience on this was very good, despite the fact that I'm probably not the fastest typer out there, and a lot of people always point out, I can't believe you type like that. Well, sorry, I just do. It's just the way I was raised. I'm sorry, I probably need to learn different ways, but yep, there we go. So that's the typing experience, but what about gaming? This is a gaming keyboard after all, so it's pretty much mostly down to its gaming performance, right? Well, the gaming performance is pretty much outstanding on this keyboard. I've been using mechanical keyboards now for about 4 years, and I would never go back. If you've never actually used a mechanical keyboard, I strongly advise you get down to a shop like Overclockers UK that actually helpfully provided the keyboard here for this review, and then you can test different switches, because there's very few places that you can actually test all of these different things out. And I know back from my days of ordering everything online without testing anything first, I know that when someone says to you that this is good, you want to take their word for it, but you're not really sure. Do yourself a favor, go down to a shop and then try different switches, because it is going to make it a lot easier for you to decide and to see what works for you. But in this case, the KL switches work really well. The lower actuation force means that if you're wanting to very quickly hit the grappling hook, or you want to very quickly fire off a grenade or something, then it is that little much better than using a membrane keyboard, and it is a nicer, more pleasurable experience, and it does feel that little bit more snappy. Is it completely game-changing? No, but it is a lot better than using a membrane keyboard, and it's definitely one of the better mechanical keyboards I've used to date. And if you're sitting there wondering, or standing, there wondering about how this compares directly against Cherry MX Reds, then I wouldn't worry about it at all, as while they are definitely different, both of them are very good. And personally, I couldn't really pick a winner. The only real fault I can pick with this particular keyboard when it comes to the switches is maybe the left-hand side of the spacebar on the very left-hand corner is slightly spongy, but I've definitely used a lot worse. So that's the gaming experience on the keyboard. As far as the RGB lighting goes, this is standout by a long way the best RGB execution I've seen on a keyboard. It's very disappointing that you can't customize it in software, but personally I think that the RGB lighting on this is so flawlessly executed. There's no color bleed at all. So if you use something like the original Corsair K2 RGB, if you went for a whiter colour, let's say, then you could see that the white was broken up into the different colours that make up the white, the R, G and B. Whereas with this, it doesn't matter when you're looking at it, it always looks like the actual colour that it's trying to be. It never looks broken up, and it sort of shines through in a really nice way, and it's really visually appealing on your desk. As far as the effects go, you can customise this, as we've previously mentioned, by doing a few of the function keys together, and it's not really that easy to do, but once you've got an effect you like, you can save it to a profile and then you don't need to worry about it, and just letting it sort of cycle through its colours as it does, it looks fantastic, and it easily blows the more expensive Corsair K2 RGB out of the water, apart from the fact that that's a lot more customizable thanks to its software. And there you go, hopefully that has been everything you need to know about this keyboard. Overall, it does actually win the Top Purchase Award, and it would be an editor's choice if it wasn't for the lack of play-pause buttons. If Xtrfy can come out with a very similar keyboard that has play-pause buttons, then that would win the editor's choice in its current state. So I hope this video has been helpful. A massive thank you to Overclockers UK for supplying the unit for this review. I'll leave all the links to the keyboard down in the description below if you want to go and check out its current price and just maybe buy it, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Subscribe to PC Centric for more videos just like this. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.